It is Tuesday, the day that we are answering the call. And this week, I want to focus on yet another way that we can stay safe, and something we talk about quite often: cutting down on drinking and driving and eliminating altogether. The Shreveport Police Department stepping up their efforts with a big checkpoint this coming couple of days. And joining us now is Corporal Chris Bordelon from Shreveport Police to give us more details on this important initiative. Chris, great to see you, sir.
Great. Thanks for having me this morning.
Yeah, our pleasure as always, buddy. So let's just jump right into it. I know Shreveport Police always on the lookout for drunk drivers, and rightfully so. Tell us about this checkpoint.
Well, so we're going to be having a checkpoint this weekend, and we're looking specifically for people driving impaired. And so if you've never experienced a checkpoint, it's very neat. We'll have signage going into the checkpoint. When you come through, there will be an officer that's going to stop the cars, and they'll usually stop 5 or 6 cars at a time. And at that point in time, an officer will walk up to the car, basically just check, see how you're doing, ask if you had anything to drink, and at that point in time, it's real quick. You move in and out, so it's really nothing. If you haven't been drinking or driving, it's really nothing to worry about.
I like how you said that. Neat. That is, it's neat for those that aren't drinking and driving.
Exactly.
Obviously not so neat if you are drinking and driving. Now, this sounds like an obvious question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Why do this, especially the collaboration that you guys have with other organizations?
Well, we have to do everything we can to try to deter and stop drunk and impaired driving. You know, we're seeing not necessarily just alcohol being a problem in some of these crashes, and many times it's different types of narcotics, whether it be prescribed or unprescribed narcotics. So we're going to try to do everything we can, and you know, these operations, we will typically screen between 300 and 700 cars depending on the traffic, and that's a large amount of individuals on the roadway. And so the goal is to deter and stop impaired driving in our community, and that's just what we're trying to do.
Chris, you touched on something pretty interesting right there. The fact that somebody could be impaired off medicine that they were prescribed by their doctor.
Absolutely.
Talk about that, and like how that may cause a lot of concern for some people. They didn't realize it was going to happen.
Well, and sometimes people do this, and it's not intentional. They're not meaning to be impaired when they're driving. You know, you may be taking something that's prescribed by your doctor for anxiety or something like that, and then just mixing that with a small amount of alcohol can actually lead to impairment and make it where you should not be operating a motor vehicle.
Oh, pretty interesting there, and some aspects sometimes we don't often take into account. And also too, real fast, the distracted driving. I know you guys have been getting a lot of calls, a lot of questions about that, about putting the phones down or just keeping those hands on the wheel.
Yeah, absolutely. For many years, drunk driving has been the #1 cause of many of our fatal accidents. And now what we're starting to see is it's transitioning, not just from impaired and drunk driving, but distracted driving. Cell phones and stuff within the cabin of the vehicle, whether they're operating a touch screen or whatever, is taking their focus off of the roadway. And it's really being an issue in many of these fatal crashes that we're seeing.
Absolutely. So put the phones down. Don't pick up the bottle. If you do, get a sober driver. Great information, and I know you guys are going to be on the lookout Friday night particularly, but all the time for SPD.
Absolutely, we'll be out there. I'm going to even be out there and may poke my head in a couple cars, say hi to some citizens. So hope to see you there, and hope you're not drinking.
Absolutely. Great advice there, Chris. Thank you, buddy. If you happen to have a question for Chris or any of our guests for answering the call, make sure you email us to pressreleases@ktbs.com, and watch every Tuesday as we get those answers for you. And keep it here. We have much more on KTBS 3 News right after this.